Alrighty, boys. So if you guys are joining us, this is a stream slash video. So in today's video, Trump signs an aviation order following the plane crash. It's an Asmongold video. We react to quite a bit of Asmongold stuff, only because, about like 50% of the time we agree with them. The other 50% we don't, but I just find his content pretty interesting to react to when it comes to politics and whatnot. And he covers a lot of politics stuff, so might as well, while we're going through politics, cover it. So here's our YouTube comment shout out if you guys are over there, and if you guys are over here on live, make sure you guys go watch the video after it's uploaded and everything, and let's get into it, boys.
This apparently just happened.
Well, moments ago, President Trump signing an executive order and a memo. Here's the video of that. Watch.
I'll see you later on.
I'd ask Will to explain the first, but really more importantly, explain the second, and we'll start signing. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. Just 2 items for your signature today. The first is the formal commission appointing Chris Rochelot to be the deputy administrator.
Just some context for people that did not know, there was a pretty tragic plane crash that took place between a helicopter and an airplane, just a couple nights ago, and unfortunately there was no survivors out of both. And these are apparently actions that Trump has been taking.
Of the Federal Aviation Administration.
So I
and since the commissioner position since the administrator position is currently vacant, he will act as the administrator since he's now been appointed deputy.
And he's a very capable guy.
Yeah, I saw this on Twitter.
In aviation,
they have a new aviation guy, like the administrator, the person who oversees like all the rules and the regulations and whatnot.
Okay.
No.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Second, for your signature, we have a presidential memorandum titled Immediate Assessment of Aviation Safety. In light of the damage done to aviation safety by the Biden administration's DEI and woke policies, what this presidential memorandum...
I can't believe that they're actually, bro. You know what's so funny? Is everybody that was like making fun of me and shitting on me for like thinking this stuff was bad?
It's literally the dumbest thing ever. DEI should not exist.
Started from the bottom and now we're here.
I know that veteran status is also DEI,
crazy.
but like, there's some DEI that's just not good. My cat's throwing up, Liz.
Is for your Secretary of Transportation and FAA Administrator, in this case acting FAA Administrator, to basically ensure that we are actively undoing all of that damage, that we are assessing how much damage was done, and that we're ensuring that people hired within the FAA, in keeping with your memorandum of January 21st, are only the most outstanding, capable people for the jobs that they're being hired into.
In other words, competence.
Yes, sir. Elevating competence over everything else instead of the DEI policies that were pursued by the Biden administration.
Well, that's good.
I think everyone understands that.
I don't. I did, but then I learned.
And Obama.
Yes.
Both of them. Okay, but Biden much worse. Not even a contest. What they've done is just crazy in so many other ways. Okay?
Yeah, I had to throw them in there, man.
Are you saying race or gender played a role in this tragedy?
It may have. I don't know. Incompetence might have played a role. We'll let you know that. But we want the most competent people. We don't care what race they are. We want the most competent people, especially in those positions. And, you're talking about extremely complex things. And if they don't have a great brain, a great power of the brain, they're not going to be very good at what they do, and bad things will happen.
Mr. President, there's long been concerns about the amount of congestion out of D.C. airport. Do you think that there's too many flights coming out of that airport?
No, I think we need very smart people running the flights and doing it,
What a stupid question. Some dumb fucking helicopter gets in a crash, the first one since 2009, and now we're going to completely redo the whole airport? Holy fuck.
If you don't think it's that bad, just make another
Calm down. Yeah, what are we doing? We want to reinvent the, like, damn, man.
Ones that aren't good, when they'll either do one of two things. They'll have too many coming in and they can't handle it, or they'll have the people waiting up in the air, which everyone's been caught in that situation, and circling the airports for an hour, and that's no good either.
Mr. President, are you aware?
Military helicopter training flights that are flying around National Airport all the time, what's your view? Should they be
Well,
rolled
my view
out?
is fine if they're in the right locations and if they're not at the same levels. I mean, if
This is the first time it happened in fucking 16, 15 years, something like that. Why are we like, it's always so crazy. One thing goes wrong and people want to reinvent the whole wheel. Sometimes shit happens, guys. That's it.
You literally cannot control every
People
single thing that
die in
goes on,
thousands
boys.
every day in car crashes. Every time a plane goes down, people go stunned. Yes, people are getting in car crashes all the fucking time. One
Yeah, you don't see
plane
them
flies
talking about fucking
down.
lessening the
Oh
amount of
my
people
God,
driving.
let's
Stupid.
change everything. What, why? Because there's a movie about a plane crash? There's more of those? Holy shit. It's 100 times more dangerous to drive? Yes, exactly. People want reassurance. People are stupid.
a plane
second
coming
that.
in is at 300 feet or 400 feet.
Idiots.
And a helicopter's training at 300 or 400 feet. Why wouldn't they be up 500 feet higher? So I certainly want, and that to a certain extent is the air traffic controller. Wait, please, wait just a second.
You feel like what happened last night was preventable?
I do, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And obviously, that was something that should not have happened. And we're not going to let it happen again. Yes, please.
Mr. President, on a slightly different subject, under
This man is
Canada
Dr. Pepper,
and Mexico
bro.
tariffs, will oil be included or excluded from those tariffs?
So we'll be announcing the tariffs on Canada and Mexico for a number of reasons. Number one is
Oh,
the
we got
people that
tariff
are poured
drops.
into our country so horribly and so much. Number two are the drugs, fentanyl, and everything else that have come into the country. And number three are the massive subsidies that we're giving to Canada and to Mexico in the form of deficits. And I'll be putting the tariff of 25% on Canada and separately 25% on Mexico.
That's an assload.
And we will really have to do that because we have very big deficits with those countries. Those tariffs may
That's
or
a
may
lot.
not rise with time.
Will oil be part of that?
Jesus.
Because we get oil from Canada.
Oil is going to have nothing to do with it as far as I'm concerned. Oil has nothing
Yeah, that's
to
a
do with
lot.
it.
That's a lot of money, boys.
Mr. President,
That's going to be,
Key and
or a
Peele
lot of the
skits?
fact that's going to be
Yeah.
taking place. People
The
don't realize
Obama
that that tariff
translator?
affects
That
on
was
both
really
ends.
good.
It's kind of like making them submit.
It could increase, yes.
What would be the maximum?
It depends, but countries that won't take back their criminals that they sent into us, you know, they sent them to us, put them into the caravans, and they came in. As sure as you're standing there, they were sent by those countries. Then they're going to be met very harshly with sanctions, etc.
And when are you hoping to have Guantanamo Bay, this new facility, up and running?
It'll be up pretty quickly.
How much do you think it's going to cost?
Not very much. It's, a lot of the structure is already there, as you know.
Mr. President, you said that incompetence may have played a role. Are you aware of any performance issues or disciplinary actions that were taken against anyone who was working the tower last night or flying the plane?
No, and I hope that's not the case in this case, but certainly over the years it's been the case. And it's the
they're probably
case with
investigating that
respect to
right now,
close
'cause
calls, and it's the case with respect to
That's a
circling
big.
for
That's a big
hours
issue, bro.
on end. You know, planes circle a lot, and they circle because the people bringing them down, these people that have to be very, very smart, and it's not based on anything other than the brain. We need the smartest people. We need both
Who's the best
psychologically
qualified
smart
people?
and
That's
just
it.
brilliant,
Maybe the
period.
smartest. Who's the best
And
qualified?
we
I mean, maybe I'm oversimplifying. Like, you know, just click the heads. But like, I feel like you don't really need the smartest people to come to the conclusion that you don't want to drive a helicopter into an airplane in
Right.
the air.
You just need
Find
the
affordable
best
health insurance
qualified,
plans.
not necessarily
Lowest
smart.
prices.
Just qualified.
Easiest process. Get your free quote now.
They suck at driving or flying a plane.
Like, I don't think you need to be like super smart for that. I mean, I think that like there has to be a like. You have to like. I mean, like it's not like anybody can come down. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's some people that would do it, right? But I feel like most people, that's not what would happen.
Yeah, not all
We're gonna
smart
have
people
them
just
in
know
our,
how to fly.
in our control towers. We are going to have the most competent people in the country in our control towers, not people that are there for any other reason.
Sir, you said that you envision sending the 80-something thousand IRS agents hired under Biden to the border. What role do you see them playing?
Well, we'll see. I mean, I may do that, or I may use different people, but we're going to send more. We're going to give the Border Patrol some help. Although now, if you look, they've taken in the lowest number since my administration. The numbers are very low. And at that level, we don't need so much help. People know not to come, because if they come, they're not going to make it in, and they're going to be shipped out.
Egypt's president and the King of Jordan have both said that they won't take in displaced people from Gaza like you suggested. Is there anything you can do to make them do that? I mean, tariffs against those countries, for example?
They will do it.
More tariffs.
They will do it.
More tariffs,
That's it? They're going to do it? That's it? All right.
They're going to do it. Okay? We do a lot for them, and they're going to do it.
Mr. President, you've offered over 2 million federal workers the option to resign immediately. There are 50,000 FAA employees. Does this tragedy give you reason to reconsider that option of resignations because of concerns about staffing issues on airline safety?
If people aren't coming to work, if they're not going to come into the office and report as per the date that you know what it is, everybody knows what the date is, it's been very well documented, then they're going to be terminated.
So you're not,
Right.
you're not concerned, though,
work.
that
If you're especially
many
in the
people
government.
take that offer, there could be
Go to the office,
shortages that could lead to
Yeah, they'll
safety
be
issues.
replaced with very
Sit down
competent
all day.
people. We have a lot
too.
of competent people in this country.
Have you spoken to any of the families of the victims of the plane crash?
I don't want to comment on that.
Do you have a plan to go visit the site
I
or meet
have
with any of the
I have a
first
plan to
responders?
visit, not the site, because you tell me, what's the site? The water?
Or to meet with
Want
the
me to go
first
swimming?
responders down there?
You want me to go swimming? Hold on. Oh, that's crazy. I mean, that's crazy.
fuck. Oh my God.
I don't have a plan to do that, but I will be meeting with some people that were very badly hurt with their family member, obviously, but I'll be meeting with some of the families.
Yeah.
On birthright citizenship, sir, do you believe that there are 5 votes on the Supreme Court that would uphold your position?
One what?
5 votes on the Supreme Court.
What
would-
position?
Birthright citizenship.
I think so, yeah. Look, birthright citizenship was, if you look back when this was passed and made, that was meant for the children of slaves. This was not.
It was 1866, and I think it was ratified in 1868. So right after the Civil War.
Meant for the whole world to come in and pile into the United States of America, everybody coming in, and totally unqualified people with perhaps
But
unqualified
at first
children.
it was fine.
This wasn't meant for that. This was meant, when it was originally done, for the children of slaves. And that was a very
it's meant in
good and
citizens.
noble thing to do, and I'm in favor of that 100%.
100%, yeah,
but it
same.
wasn't meant for the entire world to occupy the United States.
So you don't see it
Yeah, like
requiring a
hundreds of years
constitution-
later.
I don't see
Stupid.
how that's controversial. I'm going to be
It's really
real.
not. It ain't.
Yeah, I don't see how that's controversial at all. It
It's
shouldn't
not.
be.
People are
Yeah,
just
I feel
stupid.
like it's common sense. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
The solid answer. Yeah, it totally makes sense.
Amendment that would be
I just think that we'll end up winning that court in the Supreme Court. I think we're going to win that case, and I look forward to winning it. This has been going on. We're at that level. We're the only country in the world that does this.
I don't know about
There's
that.
no other country at this level. There's no other country in the world that does it. It's crazy.
Mr. President, if 64 people lost their lives
I'm actually not sure about
last
that.
night,
Somebody says, how does the intention of the amendment matter? It's how it's written. Well, so actually, that's a pretty simple answer. So, like, for example, the Second Amendment would be something that's kind of parallel to that, where you're trying to take into account the intention of the people that were writing the Constitution and not just necessarily what the exact words are and the interpretation. So, like, how do you interpret the Second Amendment, and where do you draw the line between what firearms a civilian can have and which ones they can't have? Well, that's the interpretation. And so I think in that same way, that use case is being applied to the 14th Amendment too. And in fact, I think it was in like 1790, it could have been a little bit later than that, somebody actually was trying to be able to own their own personal like warship or something like that, or a cannon. And the court at the time ruled against it, even though the idea at the time was that, yeah, no, I'm serious, right? The idea at the time was that the purpose of the amendment was to make sure that people had equal arms against the government.
Right.
That was
you
the
can't
implication
have a
of
worship,
it.
Though.
So it's very, very long, like a long history of this.
Yeah, you could not have a fucking worship.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, yeah, two very different things. But fundamentally they're not. What I'm saying is that fundamentally you're talking about an interpretation of a rule. And whether a rule is implied or whether a rule is applied by the way that the words are written or the way that the words were meant. And clearly with the Second Amendment, we are interpreting it in the way that they were meant and not the way that they were written.
Right.
That's it. I mean, I feel like that's very easy to understand. Mm-hmm. And that's just a simple example. You're completely missing the point. You used the wrong "your." Somehow I have a feeling that I am not missing the point. Anyway, that's my viewpoint.
I mean, I think it's all right. I think it's a good
concluded a very fragile truce with Sigismund, and if anyone...
That's what I think.
There you go. Sorry, we'll get this video edited and stuff out the stream. It's all
had any role. If you aren't confident that DEI had any role, why bring it up?
Well, all I'm talking about is competence, and we want in that particular position, we have to have the most competent people in our country because we're talking about lives. Now, it may or may not have had to do, but I don't like the fact that the helicopter was at the exact same level as the airplane.
Right. Yeah, that was bad.
Should have been 1,000 feet or 500 feet above it, or something below it. The plane was at 300 to 400 feet, or the plane should have been stopped because the helicopter could have stopped.
They have
the plane
for
can't be
like
stopped, but the plane was on a schedule that was, it was along a track. They call it a track.
Right.
And it's
somebody says you're slightly uninformed. If you listen to the ATC air traffic controller audio, the UH-60 couldn't listen to the ATC direction to space properly because the helicopter wasn't on the frequency. This is dangerous Trump behavior. I don't know who's at fault, and I don't think that I have assigned fault to anyone. It seemed like it was the helicopter.
There should be more regulations.
But I'm not sure. I don't think that we know,
more,
and
like,
I'm not saying it's because of DEI. I think that's silly. Chatter's correct. I think he could be right, but I think that that's information that's going to be, like, everything about the situation is probably not put together yet. It will probably take another few hours, if not day, in order for them to figure out like what actually happened and who was at fault.
But on top of that,
so just be patient. Like I'm being patient. You can be patient too.
Who gives a fuck whether
the same track that every other plane's used for many years. It was going down and landing.
Yeah.
And the helicopter got in its way. And if the helicopter was higher or lower or stopped or turning left or turning right at a quicker time. I mean, it turned, but it turned when it was too late. A tragic story. So, I don't know, do you blame it on the air traffic controller too, in addition to the pilots? Maybe the pilot's fault, they should have seen it. I would have thought they should have seen it. Because it was a plane that was...
I agree.
It was loaded up with lights, and everybody, you can see it from
both ends.
Kennedy Center, you can see it very easily.
Mm-hmm.
So all I want is the most competent people in our country to be air traffic controllers. It's a very important position, and other positions too, by the way. We're not only talking about that, we're talking, but air traffic controllers maybe in particular. They have to be brilliant with computers, brilliant with graphics. They have to be psychologically really, really smart. And
yeah, somebody said being an air traffic controller in chat was really, really hard. And like
it seems like
I could see that. Yeah, I mean, imagine like you're just narrowly averting these things from happening all the time.
And bars and
yeah, I could easily see that. I don't see how you could be
shit.
flying a helicopter and not notice that you have like a giant fucking airplane flying at you. But I've never flown a helicopter.
Yeah,
I can barely even fly a helicopter in Rust. So maybe I'm wrong on that.
Real shit.
There are a lot of people that wouldn't be able to do that.
We can talk about tariffs on Canada and Mexico.
It's hard, guys.
It's hard to rest.
It's hard to fly one.
Saturday.
Yeah, no, that ass, so it is hard.
No oil tariffs.
No, I don't. Well, I didn't say that. You said that. No.
Well, I don't want to misinterpret.
No. We may or may not. We're going to make that determination probably tonight on oil. Yeah, because they send us oil. We'll see. It depends on what the price is. If the oil is properly priced, if they treat us properly, which they don't. Look, Mexico and Canada have never been good to us on trade. They've treated us very unfairly on trade. And we will be able to make that up very quickly because we don't need the products that they have. We have all the oil you need. We have all the trees you need, meaning the lumber. We have more than almost anybody in those two categories. In oil, we have more than anybody, and we don't need anybody's trees. We have to free up some of the tree areas that we have. We have great lumber in this country. We have to free them up environmentally, which I can do very quickly.
Free the trees.
But we don't need what they have. And for us to be subsidizing Canada to the tune of $175 billion a year and subsidizing Mexico to the tune of $250 billion, $300 billion a year. And Mexico is a method of China sending in its product. And with China, I'm also thinking about something because they're sending fentanyl into our country, and because of that, they're causing us hundreds of thousands of deaths. So China's going to end up paying a tariff also for that, and we're in the process of doing that.
Jesus.
We'll make that determination what it's going to be, but China has to stop sending fentanyl into our country and killing our people.
These are big moves, though. I mean, that's tariffs on multiple countries.
Reported that conversations between Netanyahu's government and the White House has signaled that the U.S. may be about to pull its troops out of Syria. Have you made a decision to pull
I don't know who said that. I mean, I don't know who said that, but we'll make a determination on that.
I wonder why they just keep asking him about like military strategy every time. It's like he's just going to explain what they're going to do. He's obviously not going to do that.
Yeah, he's not going to do that. It's stupid.
And we're not involved in Syria. Syria's its own mess. They got enough messes over there. They don't need us involved in everyone.
Mr. President, was there a shortage of staff at the control tower at DCA last night? You're aware of?
Well, that's part of competence right there. They shouldn't have that happen. Right there is what I'm talking about. Competence would be you're not going to have a shortage. But if you had the right people, you wouldn't need as many people either.
Right. Do you know if there was a shortage last night or not?
I don't know. No, I don't know. You're telling me something.
Mr. President, you said earlier today that you had not spoken to Putin about
He really
this.
asked, did you know? And he said no. But then,
When was the last time that you spoke with him? And has President Xi responded to your ask to help put pressure to end the war in Ukraine?
I won't comment on either of them, but we're doing very well with regard to both.
There are some reports that Xi might ask of you in order to give that help, pressure to disavow potential Taiwan independence. Is that something that you would ever do?
We never discussed it.
You had said earlier that
they're going to try and make him sign the Marvel Rivals TOS.
We would get more details about the victims on the plane. Can you give more on that now?
I have a lot of details, but it's something that'll be released to you also at the appropriate time. No, I have the full details.
yeah, aren't they Taiwanese?
Young people, great athletes.
Or are they Chinese?
Great skaters. Very sad situation.
They're a Chinese company, never mind.
From numerous countries.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click.
Man.
Interesting stuff. Let's
I don't know, but all these people are warm up.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, boys, post thoughts on this. Honestly, just to tell y'all, personally, I need to do a lot more research into more of the topics that's going on and stuff like that off stream, which I'm definitely going to be doing. You know, your boy's not, superly versed in politics. I just give my own personal thoughts to go. As far as tariffs go, I need to do a little bit more research into them, but I've done a decent amount. I know enough to where that's going to make some big changes when it comes to costs and stuff like that. So I really hope that, it goes in the positive direction. It doesn't go into anything bad. And then also on top of that, I know that, the whole price of grocery thing and stuff like that, like with the tariffs and stuff, and that really being, kind of tough to bring down, especially at the moment. A lot of people are trying to say that Trump is not keeping up with his word because the price of eggs aren't down. You guys didn't know the bird flu is actually going around right now at the moment, and it's killing tons of eggs, so therefore the prices are jacked, unfortunately. So, just a simple Google search would tell you that. But kind of getting off topic, so the aviation thing, like I said, boys, it's a very rough situation. It shouldn't have happened, but it did. And of course, that's like every little thing, like when it comes to like car crash, people dying in car crashes and stuff like that, or just in freak accidents. Like it shouldn't have happened, but it did. And it does tend to happen from time to time. And, you know, it's so good on Trump that he's still planning to visit families and stuff like that, especially when there's accidents that happen daily. You can't reach everything at the same time, especially when you're the president of the United States. He's still making that, you know, that move at least. I know that Biden did that a couple times, but at the same time, I feel like Trump is kind of more outgoing towards Americans rather than other countries and stuff like that. I mean, your boy voted for Trump for a reason. But that's pretty much going to do it for the video here, boys. That's enough yapping. And of course, we'll be having some more political content coming up pretty soon. So make sure to keep it nice in the comments. I don't mind people giving their opinions and stuff like that. Just don't be down. Like, don't say anything down. Just, you know, say your opinion. And just don't be hateful is what I'm saying. Like, when I mean by down comments, just don't be hateful in the comments. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. Later, boys.